Hey guys, welcome to part two of the Progress Check Unit 2 review of ratios. Question one, write the ratio that compares blue circles to red squares. Since they said blue first, I have to count the blue circles first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the red squares are second, so 7, 2, 1, 2, 3. You can write it in word form or colon form. That's where it's a colon, or as a fraction. All three ways are acceptable. Number two, select all the correct ways to compare the green squares to the white squares. So 4 to 2, there's 4 green and there's 2 white. A works. B, 4 to 1. There's 4 green and there's not 1 white, and there's nothing 1 to compare it to, so B is out. If we look at C, 2 to 1, if I focus on just one part, I could say 2 green and 1 white. C works. And for D, 6 to 3. 6 to 3, we could do a ratio. We could break it down. So if we originally started with 4 to 2, we could cut them in half and divide each part by 2. Let me pick a different color. So if I do 4 divided by 2 and 2 divided by 2, I get a new fraction. I get an equivalent fraction, or ratio fraction, I mean. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now, how would I get to 6 to 3? Well, let me pick a different color. Now I'm going to build it back up and say, what could I multiply 2 by to get to 6 to make this true? And I would say 2 times 3 is 6. So whatever I do to the top, I got to do the bottom. And 1 times 3 is 3. And so that's why D also works. Jessica has a bag of marbles. In her bag, she has 5 red marbles, 7 yellow marbles, and 4 blue marbles. What is the ratio of blue to yellow? So they said blue first, so I got to look for blue. 4 goes with blue. 4 is first in letter D, and then for yellow, we have 7 yellow, and 7 is also second. So D is your answer. Let's go to the next one. In a box of 48 oranges, 1 in every 6 oranges is rotten. How many rotten oranges are there? So 1 in every 6 is rotten. So 1 rotten over 6 oranges. They want to know, well, how many rotten will there be if there's 48 oranges? Sorry, I can't. OJ. Oranges, not orange juice. Oops. Yeah, I can't fit the word orange, but I'll try. Orange. All right. And since 6 times what? 6 times 8 gives you 48. I'm going to multiply the top also by 8. And 1 times 8 is 8. So there's going to be 8 rotten oranges out of a bunch of 48. Number 5. Which of the following is an equivalent ratio to 4 to 5? So here's what we should do. We can make a ratio table like this, and we can put 4 on the left side and 5 on the right side. I'm going to take each number and see if it works. So if we look at A, I put 8 on the left side and 15 on the other side. Now I have to make it so that it's true on both sides. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. So I know 4 times 2 is 8. That's true. Is 5 times 2 equal to 15? No, that doesn't work. So let's erase that. Can we undo? Let's see. Yeah. So A doesn't work. 8 to 15 is not equivalent to 4 to 15. Oops. And so A is out. Let's look at B. So I have 12 on the left. Oh no. I have 12 on the left and I have 15 on the right. 4 times 3 is 12. That's true. So this has to work out too. 5 times 3 is 15. True and true. I don't even need to go any further. My answer is B. Number 6. Jack makes purple paint by mixing 12 teaspoons of blue paint and 4 tablespoons. Jack makes purple paint by mixing 12 tablespoons of blue paint and 4 tablespoons of red paint. Identify whether each statement is true or false. First statement, 6 tablespoons of blue and 2 tablespoons of red would produce the same shade of paint as the mixture above. Red. Okay, so again, I'm going to make a chart right here. Or right here. Yeah. And I'm going to put, actually, let's do this a little bit higher up. Okay, let's do that right here. Blue and red. So this is going to be my blue side. That's going to be my red side. They say 12 blue and 4 red. The question is, what if it becomes 6 blue and 2 red? Would it be the same? So I'm going to put 6 right below and 2 under red. I know that 4 times 2 is 2. That's true. And it looks like 12. Okay, not times. My mistake. We can actually just go backwards. So if I go from 2 to 4, like that, 2 times 2 is 4, and 6 times 2 is 12, and that works. So that answer is true. Mixing tablespoons of blue to red paint in a ratio of 8 to 24 would produce the same mixture. So let's erase what we got. Let's keep the original. Okay, so 12 to 4, right? Okay, and then 8 to 24. 8 to 24. So if I look here, I know that 4 times 6 is 24. That's true. But if I do 12 times 6, 12 times 6 is not 8. So that is not true. That is false. All right. Mixing 15 tablespoons of blue paint and 4 tablespoons of red will make a bluer color. So, okay, so let's see. We're not going to multiply anything, but they're saying if we add 3 more cups of blue and keep the red tablespoons at 4. So you notice how these two are the same. The amount of red paint doesn't change, but the blue paint does change. We add more blue. Instead of it being 12 to 4, it's now 15 to 4. We added more blue. So that means we will have a bluer color. That's true. Last one, mixing tablespoons of blue to red in a ratio of 4 to 1 would produce the same mixture. Let's see. Okay, let's keep the original. And they say blue to red, 4 to 1. Okay. What would I have to divide 4 by to get 1? I would have to do 4 divided by 4 to get 1. Is 12 divided by 4? Is 12 divided by 4 equal to 4? No, it would have to be 3. So that statement is false. All right, let's continue. Almost done. Number 7. Which of the following ratios is not equivalent to 4 to 7? Okay, I'm going to actually continue my little ratio table right. I'm going to draw it right through the colon. 4 to 7. So let's do 8 to 14. Okay, I would multiply 7 times 2. That's true. And is 4 times 2 8? It is. That's true. So A is equivalent. Let's keep the same table. Well, let's redo it. 1, 2. Okay, 4 to 7 again. Let's look at B. 12 on the left and 21 on the right. 7 times 3 is 21. Is 4 times 3 equal to 12? That's true. They're both true. So B is equivalent to 4 to 7. Okay, let's do letter C. We have 4 to 7 again, and now we're going to add, not add, but we're going to compare it to 20 to 45. I know that 4 times 5. I know 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, so that means I have to do 7 times 5. And 7 times 5 is not 45. So C does not work. And actually, they asked for what is not equivalent, and I should have crossed out my answers. A was equivalent, B was equivalent, but C was not equivalent. So C is the answer. Let's solve letter D just in case. Let's see. You always want to try all the answer choices. So we have 16 on the left and we have 28 on the right. So 7 times 4 is 24. That's true. And so 4 times 4 is also equal to 16. That is equivalent. So we can't count D. We can only count letter C as being the only ratio that's not equivalent to 4 to 7. Number 8. If you can buy 15 sodas for $9, how much would you pay for 2 sodas? Okay, so, if I pay $15 for 9 sodas, let's put money up top. So let's put $9 right there. That's how much I'm going to pay for 15 sodas. Okay, so what if I can't really cut in half. What if I divide both of them in half by, what if I divide both of them by 3? If I divide both of them by 3, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So for 3 sodas, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So they didn't ask for how much 5 sodas. They didn't ask for how much 5 sodas would be. 5 sodas would be $3. They want to know how much are you going to pay for 2 sodas. So let's break it down into, let's figure out for 1 soda then. How much is 1 soda going to be? So let's keep going. I'm actually going to redo this on another paper. So I need more room. Board, canvas. Okay, so we can make a table. Okay. So we had $9 over here. We paid $9 for 15 sodas, right? Now, the reason why I started over here is because we're going to go down. So again, what we did was we divided both the top and the bottom by 3, right? So when we divided them both by 3, we got, oops, no. Okay. So when we did 9 divided by 3, we got $3. And when we divided 15 by 3, we got 5. So again, this is our sodas. And the top is going to be the money. Okay. So now we're going to keep dividing. So we're going to say, oops, that doesn't need to be that. Oh, because we're going to do 2. Yeah. Okay. So let's go there. We'll come back to the other one. Let's do 5 divided by 5 and $3 divided by 5. All right, let's get our answer. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. So for 1 soda, how much are we going to pay? So we're going to do 3 divided by 5. 3 divided by 5. Now, you can use a calculator. And when you look at a fraction, a ratio fraction like this, you could actually do 3 divided by 5. You could type that in your calculator. You're going to get a decimal. So let's see. If we do 3 divided by 5, we get 0.6. And when we talk about money, it's 60 cents. So we're going to pay 60 cents for 1 soda. The question was, how much are we going to pay for 2 sodas? So I want to know, when I have 2 sodas, how much am I going to pay? So what do you think you should do? Well, remember, whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So I know 1 times 2 is 2. Same thing with this 60. We're basically doubling it. So 60 cents plus 60 cents is $1.20. We're going to pay $1.20 for 1 soda, for 2 sodas. Okay. There we go. Number 9, a recipe for pasta dough says use 150 grams of flour per large egg. How much flour is needed if 4 large eggs are used? Okay, let's make a diagram. Actually, let's again go on the big board. A recipe for pasta dough says use 150 grams of flour per large egg. How much flour is needed for 4 large eggs? Okay, there's many ways to look at it. Clear canvas. So they said 150 grams equals 1 large egg. They said how many for 4 large eggs? We can make a ratio table. So we could say grams over here. Oops, that is not an O. Grams, eggs. We know 1 egg is going to use 150 grams. The question was, what if we are using 4 eggs? So in order to go from 1 to 4, we would have to multiply. And we would do 1 times 4. Then over here, we got to do the same thing. 150 times 4. Well, let's break it apart. 150 times 4. Now you remember how to do this in elementary school. We're going to put our 4 right there. And we're going to put 100 right there. And then we're going to put 50 right there. 4 times 50 is 200. And 4 times 100 is 400. 400 plus 200 is 600. So we're going to use 600 grams if we use 4 eggs. Excellent. Number 10. A recipe calls for 3 teaspoons of vanilla for every 6 cups of flour. Select the ratio that is equivalent to 3:6. So if you look, 3:6, 3 is half of 6. So let's look at the other ones. 5 is not half. So we got to look for a pattern. So the number on the right has to be double the number on the left. So the number on the left is always going to be half of the number on the right. So for example, 5, if we look at B, 5 would have the number on the right would have to be double 5. And double 5 is 10, not 7. So B is out. 5 is, if we double 5 for B, or I guess this is C. If we double 5, we would have to get 10. We have 8 right there, so B's out too. We look here, 5, double 5 is 10, so letter D works. Again, when we were looking at the ratio 3 to 6, 3 is half of 6. We can double it. 3 times 2 equals 6. Same thing with this. 5 times 2 is 10. Let's take a look at number 11. Arjan made hot cocoa. He added 10 milliliters of chocolate syrup for every 3 ounces of hot water. Arjan's brother, Eli, added 45 milliliters of chocolate syrup for every 6 ounces of hot water. Use a mathematical model to explain your reasoning. Diagrams, equivalent ratio lists, double number lines, or table values. Table of values. So the question is, whose hot chocolate is more chocolatey? So we're going to do 2. So Arjan is right here, and we're going to put Eli at the bottom. So we're going to put hot chocolate up top, hot cocoa, and hot water. So hot water. Okay, so Arjan's recipe, he's got 3 ounces of hot water. He's going to add 10 milliliters. Okay. His brother, same thing, hot cocoa and hot water. For him, he uses 6 ounces of hot water and 45 milliliters of hot cocoa, or the cocoa syrup. So one thing I notice is if we look at Eli's, we want to compare the amount of water, right? So if we look at Arjan and Eli's, this isn't fair to make a quick decision because we're not looking at them as if they're both drinking from 3 ounces or 6 ounces. So we got to pick one, and we got to make sure that they're both drinking the same amount of hot water. Let's actually do something with Arjan's, because what I'm seeing is, couldn't I just double the amount of water he uses? So if we double 3 ounces, it would become 6 ounces. And if I do 3 times 2, I get 6 ounces. So remember, whatever I do to the bottom, I got to do to the top. And 10 times 2 equals 20 milliliters. So now we can compare them equally. They both are drinking from a 6-ounce cup, right, with the same amount of water, but they use a different amount of chocolate syrup. I noticed that Eli uses a lot of chocolate in his 6-ounce cup versus Arjan only uses 20 milliliters of hot cocoa. So whose hot cocoa was more chocolatey? It would be Eli. All right. Hope that was helpful.